Milu and MIU, Tales from Home. Episode 4, The Trouble with the Ball of Red Yarn. The next morning, another new object appeared in the living room. Tucked neatly inside a lovely little basket was a big, round ball of yarn, as bright red as a ripe tomato. Milu glanced at it once and snorted. "Woof! It's just a ball of string. What's so fun about that?" he thought to himself before turning back to his favorite rubber bone. But to MIU, this wasn't just any ball of string. It was a challenge, an adventure, the most wonderful toy a cat could ever dream of. MIU's eyes lit up. She crept forward, step by silent step, her body coiled like a spring ready to pounce. Pounce. It was a perfect strike. MIU used her front paw to bat at the ball of yarn. A strand of yarn came loose. Delighted, MIU batted at it again. The ball rolled out of the basket and began to tumble across the floor. The game was on. MIU chased the ball of yarn, pouncing on it, then leaping over it. Wherever the ball rolled, it left a trail of red yarn behind. The string snagged on a table leg, wrapped around the sofa, and stretched across the Lego Brothers' house. Before long, the entire living room had turned into a giant red spiderweb. Milu, who had been chewing his bone, suddenly felt something tangled around his leg. He looked down and saw that a red yarn string had wrapped around his paw without him noticing. He tried to shake it off, but the more he struggled, the tighter the yarn pulled. "Woof! Woof!" Milu cried out, confused. Hearing Milu's cries, MIU stopped her game. She looked around and finally realized the huge mess she had made. The yarn was everywhere. And worst of all, her best friend Milu was tangled up in her toy. MIU felt a pang of regret. Her game had gone too far. She rushed over to Milu and tried to use her claws to free him, but that only made the tangle worse. Seeing MIU looking so worried, Milu suddenly grew calm. He stopped struggling and lay still on the floor. He looked at MIU and let out a soft woof, as if to say, "Don't worry, I'll stay still so you can untangle it." MIU understood. She began the very patient work of untangling him. She carefully walked around Milu, using her mouth and front paws to gently weave through the loops of yarn, undoing one knot at a time. Milu was a huge help, lifting his paw when MIU signaled and staying perfectly still. From his corner, Action Hero gave a thumbs up and said, "Now that's teamwork." Being brave isn't about never making a mess. It's about taking responsibility and working together to clean it up. After a long while, the final loop of yarn was freed from Milu's leg. They were both tired but very relieved. They looked at the red yarn scattered across the room and knew they had one more job to do: clean up the battlefield. Working together, one using his mouth and the other her paws, they slowly rolled the messy yarn back into a ball. Even though it wasn't as neat and round as it was at the start, it was the result of their teamwork. They had learned that every game needs to know when to stop, and that cleaning up after you play is just as important as the game itself. Upbeat, friendly music begins. Narrator: That was a great lesson about responsibility, wasn't it, everyone? Milu and MIU learned how to work together to fix a mess they made. So what will happen in the next episode when an uninvited guest shows up in the garden? Will it be a new friend or a fearsome foe? Ask your parents to subscribe to the Happy Tail World TV channel today, so you can be the first to find out the answer in episode 5. Until then, goodbye and see you next time.